What is the Strait of Hormuz and why does this actually matter? It handles roughly 20 to 30% of the world's seaborne oil trade. So blocking this could spike global oil prices to $100 and above per barrel. This is their alternative to having a nuclear weapon, and it's legitimately referred to as that. Now, this was a critical moment because this might have been the U.S. preparing for the fact that it might have to face upward pressure in oil prices in case they needed to make a move on Iran, and this is how they would respond. That way, if Iran does block the strait, the U.S. has at least a little bit of a cushion in how much oil it has access to at cheaper prices. But if you remember, this move to take over Venezuelan oil reserves also had a massive impact on one of the United States' major competitors, China. With Maduro as the leader of Venezuela, China was buying Venezuelan oil at discounted prices. Some shipments were actually being tied to debt repayment deals. Now, once the U.S. takes control of the exports of Venezuela, oil had to be sold at a fair market value, and Trump made it very clear that he was going to still allow China to get access to Venezuelan oil. Now, let's actually take a look at this real quick, because petroleum and other liquids account for approximately 20% of China's total primary energy consumption. Over 70% of China's total oil consumption is imported, and roughly 45 to 50% of China's imported oil comes from the Middle East. And the Strait of Hormuz is where the majority of the Middle East oil is coming through. So the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz might be exactly what Trump was counting on. You see, this crushes the Middle East, India, China, and other BRICS nations mostly. But it might have a more limited impact on the United States if the U.S. is able to rely on the massive oil reserve in Venezuela and increased domestic production.